My friend, we are living in a time when the world feels like it's shifting under our feet. For most of our lives, we've been told the story of American power. We've heard that the United States sits at the top, that the world order is fixed. But history doesn't stand still. Power rises, power falls, and today the balance is changing. We see new nations stepping onto the stage, not just to participate, but to lead. And among them, one country is pushing forward with remarkable energy. That country is India. Now, I want to talk to you tonight, not with big fancy words, but in a way we can all follow. Because what's happening right now is too important to get lost in jargon. The truth is, India is no longer just a regional power. India is shaping up to be a global force. When you look at the numbers, when you look at the people, when you look at the ambition, it's clear. India is standing at the edge of something historic. Think about it. India has more than 1.4 billion citizens. That's not just a number, it's the largest democracy in the world. And inside that massive population is the youngest workforce anywhere. Millions of young people entering the job market, building businesses, coding apps, launching startups. That kind of energy, that kind of drive, it changes the future. It's like watching the raw fuel of history being poured into an engine. And that engine is just starting to. But let me be straight with you. This is not just about demographics. This is about the quiet shift of the world toward a new balance. For decades, we lived in a unipolar world where America held the torch. Then we saw the rise of China, challenging the old order, and now something else is happening. We are moving toward multipolarity, a world with more than one center of power. And India is right there, quietly positioning itself to be one of those centers. So let's take a closer look. Let's see how India is doing this. First, the economy. You can't be a superpower if you don't have the economic engine to drive you forward. And right now, India's economy is among the fastest growing anywhere. 6-7% growth year after year. Compare that to much of the developed world, where growth is crawling at 1 or 2%. India is charging ahead. And this is not just growth for the sake of growth. This is powered by reforms. The government has been pushing initiatives like Make in India, designed to build industries, create jobs, and encourage manufacturing right at home. And let's not forget the digital revolution. India has built one of the most impressive digital infrastructures anywhere, the Unified Payments Interface. UPI is admired all over the world. It allows people to send money with a single click, and it has become a model for digital public goods. Millions of Indians, from big cities to small villages, are now connected to a digital economy that's fast, efficient, and transparent. It's not just progress, that's transformation.
Behind the scenes, there's even more happening. India is cutting deals with countries across Asia, Africa, and Europe, quietly working to reduce dependence on both the US and China, building alternative trade routes, diversifying supply chains, making sure it doesn't get trapped in someone else's game. That's smart strategy. That's the kind of long-term planning that great powers do.
Now let's talk about something that captures the imagination. Science and technology. India is making moves that many people didn't expect. When the Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft touched down on the moon's south pole, it wasn't just a win for India. It was a win for humanity. But make no mistake, it was also a message. It told the world that India can do what only a handful of nations have done. It reminded everyone that space is no longer the playground of a few. And this wasn't a one-off. Years earlier, India's Mars orbiter reached the red planet on its first attempt at a fraction of the cost of other missions. That's efficiency. That's ingenuity. And it sets India apart as a country that can innovate on a global scale. But space isn't the only frontier. India is investing heavily in semiconductors, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing. These are the technologies that will decide the future. Whoever leads here won't just lead in industry, they'll lead in security, they'll lead in influence. And India is making sure it has a seat at that table. Now let me tell you something most people don't talk about. India is also deepening quiet collaborations with countries like France, Russia, and even partners in the Middle East. These projects, often hidden from the headlines, focus on advanced technology, defense systems, and energy security. They may not make the news every day, but they are shaping the future. Because when you build those partnerships, when you secure that knowledge, you're laying the foundation of superpower status. Of course, no conversation about superpower potential is complete without defense. And here again, India is stepping up. It's the fourth largest defense spender in the world. That's not by accident, that's by design. The Indian Navy is being modernized to secure the Indo-Pacific, one of the most contested regions on the planet. The missile program, Agni missiles capable of carrying nuclear warheads, is a powerful deterrent. And while India partners with the United States, Japan, and Australia in the Quad, it still maintains strong ties with Russia. That balance is deliberate. It gives India leverage. But I'll tell you something that doesn't get enough attention. India is building capabilities in cyber warfare and space defense. These are quiet investments. They don't show up in parades. They don't make for flashy headlines. But in the 21st century, wars may not be fought on battlefields alone. They'll be fought in the cloud, in satellites, in data systems. And India is making sure it won't be caught unprepared. Now think about India's position in the world. It sits at the crossroads of Asia. It borders China. It looks across the ocean to Africa. It has historical ties with Russia. It has strong relationships with the United States. And it's a leader in organizations like BRICS, the G20, and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. India is everywhere. It buys oil from Russia, even as it does defense exercises with America. It partners with the Middle East, even as it strengthens ties with Japan and Australia. What does that tell us? It tells us that India is not choosing sides. It is building a new path.